Monday, episode 507 here at Tropical Nomad in the Garden. And today is interesting. It's about investment. So Bali Tourism and Investment Chamber, you would know, has recently been launched here in Bali. We have 4 of the founders today sitting next to, well, including myself, which we'll get into very shortly. But this is really about, 2026. A lot is happening in Bali, especially this year, from a regulatory perspective, as well as a social impact perspective, as well as an entrepreneurial perspective. So tonight, the idea, our mission is to answer some of your questions that you may have around that, but also to let you know what to look out for as an investor in 2026 in Bali, and probably a little bit beyond as well. So I'll start as 2025 closes. Bali enters a pivotal investment year, and this Monday, that's tonight's show, a public open session, live Q&A with 4 of the founders from Bali Tourism and Investment Chamber. By the way, there's a QR code up here. If you're interested to know more, feel free to QR code and shortlist yourself to join the membership, which will start in January. Now, what BTIC, Bali Tourism Investment Chamber, is doing is bringing clarity, coordination, and credibility to Bali's investment landscape, of which there's pretty much 4. You have central government, regional government, local government, and obviously the foreign investors here in Bali. All right. So there's some key takeaways for tonight, unpacking what foreign investors, entrepreneurs, and operators must know in 2026, such as key investment parameters and regulatory signals for 2026, latest tourism regulations and compliance deadlines, what BTIC is, why it matters now, and how to participate. And then finally, aligning investment with sustainability, culture, and long-term impact. Now I'm going to read this from Instagram if I can, which is not going to work, so I'll go back to my other one over here. So tonight we have from left to right, maybe we'll start that way. So we have Terje H, which I just recently was your middle name. Is it Holte? Holte Nilsen. Now he's the interim chairman of BTIC, entrepreneur, investor, co-founder and managing partner of 7 Stones Indonesia, and his key kind of topic is about investment and regulatory environment. And then we have Sophie Digby, founder and publisher, Yak Magazine. As I mentioned before, publisher, brand strategist, cultural connector. Now, storytelling, culture, and global outreach is one that Sophie has a very good handle and awareness about. And then to my immediate left, Elvira Wason, co-founder of Bye Bye Plastic Bags. If you remember that, you remember her daughter Malati, who's on stages around the world, speaking at the UN with President Obama and a whole bunch of other very famous dignitaries and wonderful people. She's a consultant, EarthCheck, which is, we'll ask her to explain what EarthCheck is, but a phenomenal global organization. And tonight she'll be also talking about nature as a stakeholder. So yes, a round of applause there. Yes, so she's also a sustainability advocate, auditor and trainer. Now finally is me, Robert Ian Bonnick, co-founder, PT Carry Life Group, gateway to Indonesia for business, growth strategist, advisor, and moderating tonight. And I'm really all about business integration, cross-sector collaboration. In other words, how do we get people around the table to have the right conversations, all right? So what else can I say? Founder of SpeakuP Monday, Indonesia's #1 entrepreneurship and social impact talk show. We're halfway through 500 plus episodes. I was joking. Recognized by, recognized by tourism at national, local level, Forbes Business Council, and a #1 change maker in Bali, motivational speaker. Another round of applause for a very long intro. Thank you. Woo. Okay, so I didn't cover all that I wanted to cover with each of our guests. So I'm going to give them a chance to kind of give you a little bit of background about them. so you understand a little bit more. Now, we should go ladies first. So, Sophie, yeah, a bit of background about you and how you found your way into BTIC.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, but no, that's okay. But we can turn it up.
Is that better? Yeah, that's so much better. So as I said before, it's not about my background; it's about the foreground. So, any of you here, have you read a book called Indonesia, etc.?
One person here.
It's an amazing book by a woman called Elizabeth Pisani, who worked here in the United Nations maybe 30 years ago, and she came back to write the 20 years post her first travel under the title Indonesia, etc. Did you know that Indonesia within their constitution has the word etc.?
No, we didn't.
Wow, right, guys. So if you've ever found that Indonesia can flip-flop with laws that leaves you just going, what happened there? Read the book, and then you will understand, number one, why, number one, because, and number two, accept and understand, right? So it's one of the most important books that I've ever read. It's called Indonesia, etc. I can't remember the tagline was a country trying to get out of too many ownerships, because the Japanese are here, the Dutch are here, the English are here. It's called Indonesia, etc. So within the Indonesian constitution, it does say Del LL, and if you're Indonesian, you know that means Dan Lain Lainnya. Dan Lain Lainnya, which means that they have the option, because in 1945 they took back the country from the Dutch. In the meantime, the Japanese are trying to come in, the Dutch are trying to come back in, the English are putting up their hands, and it was the Second World War, and it was all that thing. So they had to write a constitution to get recognized by the United Nations very quickly. And it was then another 4 years until they got the telegram from the United Nations saying, we respect you and agree that you exist as a country in your own right? So they did the best they could. The reason the flag is red and white, because they ripped the blue bit off the Dutch flag. That is why the Indonesian flag is red and white. They literally didn't have time to come up with the color. It's just a bit of brainstorming. Let's ask AI. They literally ripped the blue bit off, and they declared that is the color of the Indonesian flag. So sorry, I know I'm going past my time. So do pick up Indonesian.